So I don't really know if I should be doing this right now because I'm in a contract and I really don't want like any like legal stuff to happen. But I don't know any other way to reach out. And if anyone at Studio 71 can please just email me who isn't Joshua David Evans, and please do so. I've just had an email from Josh like half an hour ago now, and I've been sat like speechless. Joshua David Evans is my YouTube manager, and I have not. It's I if someone comes from Studio 71 can just please reach out to me. I've tried to reach out to them. I tried today, and then this email I got from Josh has confirmed to me that anything I do try and say to them won't go through them, and I'm just scared now. I'm really scared. I'm scared that they have financial control over my channel. They are going to take all of my money, and I'm in a contract that I seemingly can't get out of, even though I'm really trying hard to get out of this contract. And I don't know what to do now. I genuinely don't know what to do. And I've just had this email off Josh, and I'm so lost. I'm so lost for words. I'm speechless. I don't know what's going on. If I don't get out of this contract, and if I don't get my money from Studio 71, if I don't get my money from Josh, then I've got nothing. And I've just sent the most vulnerable email to Josh about about an hour ago. And then I got this response from Josh half an hour ago, and I don't know what to do. And just to let you in on what's been happening and what's going on, a little context, I always ignore emails. I do. I don't do sponsorships. I'm well, for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is I don't want to open an email and it being a scam, and having my channel get hacked and things like that, because that happens all the time, and that really scares me. So that's one of the reasons why I don't do sponsorships. And I don't do, I don't ever accept opportunities from my channel, even though my channel is like, it's the thing I'm the most proud of. It's my job, and I love it so much. It's the thing that I've even said. I did a 7-year booktube Q&A video only like 2 months ago, when I said like, doing this job and becoming a YouTuber full time and making videos I'm passionate about has saved my life. And I mean that literally. It has saved my life. And I never take opportunity. I just think there's no reason to it. It's not going to help me in the long run. In March, I get an email from Josh. I get an email from Joshua David Evans, and he's talking about, oh, I've been following your channel for a while. I would love to talk to you. We are Studio 71. We help creators and things like that. And honestly, it sounded great. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Josh was awful, because he really wasn't, and he's not. Well, after this email, I'm unsure. But like, at first I was like, again, I'm just going to ignore it, because I don't ever take opportunities for myself. I'm not going to sign any contracts and things like that. And I thought I knew better. I really did. And the emails was like, like, we can help you with like streaming and stuff. We can get your channel, and that's just like all I've ever really wanted, really, is just to like, I like, honestly, I bleed for this channel. I really do. I do. And so like, it's my absolute passion and stuff. And so like, when I think, oh, someone's going to give me an opportunity, I will ignore it because I think it's a scam. But I recognize the name. I recognized the name Joshua David Evans about 3 years ago. Swoop. I love Swoop. I've been a follower of Swoop for a while. She did a documentary on Colleen Ballinger, and I'd never heard of Colleen Ballinger before. And it was weird because I'm pretty sure I have seen Josh before. I'm pretty sure I've seen Josh before, like about 10, 15 years ago or something on YouTube. I grew up on a lot of the YouTube back in the day. I grew up on cringe content, and so I recognize his name. And after that Colleen Ballinger documentary, and Colleen Ballinger is an awful fucking person, by the way. She was accused of some nasty shit, and there was so much proof and evidence against her. And Joshua David Evans is her ex-husband. And after this Swoop documentary, like, he came across as like really like down to earth and really nice, and like he didn't seem to be like part of the problem and stuff like that. So like, when he reached out about joining this thing, I was like, oh, that's Josh. Like, he's a good guy. I know he's a good guy. There's things I sympathize with him, and all this, that, and the other about that whole documentary and stuff. And I replied. I replied, and I probably shouldn't have done. But in March, I was in a very vulnerable place, right? So I just been to the High School Musical tour resort to film a vlog, and the Scream House to film a vlog. And it wasn't the cheapest, but like, I wanted to do it. I really, really wanted to do it. I want to make videos, but also I had. Should I mention this? Yeah, I might as well. So Audio Salad, copyright claim on my videos, even though it was a false claim. and they held that money in escrow on YouTube. Whenever there's a claim, they hold it in escrow, and whoever wins the dispute, they get the money. And that was on the 10th of March. Audio Salad sent me a false copyright claim on one of my Stay Across My Bookshelves videos. And from March 10th to April 1st, the YouTube was holding that money from that video. And then on April 1st, Audio Salad rejected the claim, which meant that they would get all of that money. All of that money they've held from my ad revenue they've taken. And so in March, I was like already like, I felt like, oh, I'm pissing money here. I'm just losing money. And I'm making the worst financial decisions. And so I felt like I was in a pretty vulnerable place anyway. So yeah, if you don't know, yeah, Audio Salad have scammed me as well. They've stolen my money from March. And I did ask if Josh could help me with this like last week, and he didn't. I ended up sending Audio Salad like 20 emails from the start of April to like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, okay, I'm done then. You can keep the fucking money. So that's gone. I can't get in touch with Audio Salad. But anyway, sorry, that was a tangent. In March, anyway, I was in a vulnerable place. And I thought, oh, here's someone who can see something in me. He's telling me that, oh, there's like so many opportunities we can open up for you. We can, you know, get you on Tubi, we can get you on Roku, whatever. And like, there's just so much that we can do for you. That'll be a great opportunity for you. And I was like, you know what, for once in my life, I'm going to listen. For once in my life, I'm not going to ignore an email. And you know what, I recognize the name, I'm going to reply. And I did. And we had a couple of meetings. And you know what, he came across as so lovely. He really did. And he was so charming, and he was like, he even sang one of the songs that I sang in one of my videos. So I was like, oh yeah, he's actually watching my videos, he's actually watching my channel. I felt great. I felt so like seen, and I was like, oh, maybe this could be the opportunity that I like knocking on my door, and I take it. Yeah, so I ended up signing the contract on the 14th of April. And so why did I do that? Like, why did I do that? But like, the contract's for a year, and I in the back of my mind, I was like, if it doesn't work out, just leave. Like, it's a year, you know? And the contract is they will take 10% from my ad revenue every month. And I wasn't really 100% sure how they were going to take that. I did freak out at the start of, what month is it now? I freaked out at the start of June, because the money goes to them first. Like, all of my money goes to them first. My ad revenue, my memberships, any donations I get in my comments and things like that, they get it. And then they send me it. And I get that like about 1 to 2 weeks after I would YouTube. But yeah, I thought that's the company, that's what they do. They have to add their revenue as well that they make from your channel, and like anything that you get from them. Like, say if they do get you on a streaming service or what have you, then obviously they need to accumulate all that money and then send you whatever's left. And I didn't really question it. And I should have. Honestly, this is the biggest life lesson I've ever learned. And I am regretting all of my decisions. You have no idea. And so I signed it. I did. I had instant regrets. I actually did. I signed it. And like, one of the first few things Josh said was, oh, this is going to be so amazing. It's going to be so exciting. Like, I've already got like sponsorships lined up, like BetterHelp. And I was like, oh, fucking not BetterHelp. Not BetterHelp. Jesus H. Christ. So internally I was like dying inside. And there's like a form you can fill in on the portal, and it was like, oh, is there anyone you wouldn't do sponsorships with? As soon as that call was over, BetterHelp. I won't do any sponsorships for any BetterHelp or anything that uses AI, nothing like that. I'm not doing it. I'm not selling my soul for that. I didn't want sponsorships. That's not what I'm doing it for. I wanted to get my channel out. I want people to see my videos. I want people to, you know what I mean? I don't give a shit about freaking trying to sell people shit I'm not gonna fucking use. But yeah, that's my own fault, isn't it? Like, I do blame myself. I really do. I blame myself for signing a contract that honestly I thought was fine, and if I'd known how things are gonna transpire, I honestly. So it takes about a month. Yeah, probably about a month before I kind of get another call with Josh. And he's like, oh, we're doing like an optimization for your channel and stuff. We're going to do a report and things like this. And I was like, oh, great. Maybe you can like tell me where I need to improve. Maybe you can tell me which videos I might do well and I should focus on, and things that maybe don't do so well and I shouldn't do. And so I was waiting with anticipation for this optimization report. They were going through a merger, so obviously like things would take some time. So I didn't really mind it taking too much longer, to be fair. But then I get the optimization report, and I think it was like the 18th of May. So exactly a month ago today, yeah, Monday the 18th of May, it was exactly a month ago today as I'm filming this. And the optimization report, oh my God. Again, I could have cried. I could have cried. Josh was on the call. He has his PowerPoint presentation. And he's like, So this is kind of like idea we have for your channel, like the brand that we can do for your channel. You know, we think you would fit like this really like this Blues Clues, Mr. Rogers kind of persona thing. And I'm sitting there like, fucking Blues Clues. Do you know I go to haunted places and dress up as fucking nuns singing Sister Act? I swear on my channel all the time. I talk about sex quite a lot. I do cringy skits half the time as well. Dance around the High School Musical tour resort, dress as Sharpie fucking Evans. And you're telling me I should be like act more like a Blues Clues host? I should do things like I was like, I mean, I didn't say anything. Like again, like I should have said more. I should have been more vocal. I know I genuinely should have done, and I regret that I didn't. I regret that I didn't speak up a little bit more in the moment. But I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna listen. I'm just gonna listen because like this the presentation has just begun. And then he's talking about, oh, these are the colours that we should focus on as well. We got like terracotta and things like this. And I was just like, what the fuck has this got to do with my channel? How is this going to help me in my channel and grow and you know, improve and things like that? Fucking terracotta for my thumbnails, or what terracotta in my room? Like, where are these colours coming from? How is this going to help? Talking about merch. I'm not gonna lie, some of the merch did sound pretty good. I will say that some of the merch sounded pretty good. But at the same time, I'm like, and then he's talking about the streaming services, and like, okay, like that's great. Like I would love to do the streaming services. Get my videos on other platforms, amazing. That would be so good. Another revenue stream, fantastic. We can fund more videos, and I can go to more places and do all of this, that, and the other. Again, I didn't vocalize exactly what I thought of like half of that presentation. And I wanted to know like how he would actually like physically help me, okay? So that week I was posting that Sherlock Holmes video and I just want to see what they could do. I did. Like, it was almost like a test. I was like, okay, so I got a Sherlock Holmes video coming up. It's Sherlock Holmes Day on Friday and it's Monday. And I was like, you know, can I get some like guidance on this thumbnail? Can I just like have some help on this thumbnail? Maybe the title as well. Maybe you can tell me about the title. And honestly, again, like my heart dropped when I got the response. I'll show you what my original thumbnail was that I sent them. And I was just like, what do you suggest? Like, what can you do with this? Do you need me to take more photos so like we can like brainstorm the thumbnail a little bit more, what have you? And he sends me these two thumbnails. Oh my God. They're just awful. They are just, in my opinion, absolutely awful. And have you seen my face? Oh my God. I've never seen a thumbnail of me look so ugly. I'm sorry, but that's diabolical. That is absolutely diabolical. And the title suggestions and the kind of rhetoric that was in this email, it sounded like ChatGPT. It did. And I was like, this is the first thing I'm asking for help for like a tangible thing I'm asking for help. And this sounds like ChatGPT. And this, honestly, I'll show you the screenshot on the screen. It sounds like ChatGPT. And I don't want to accuse people of using AI, but I think that's exactly what happened here. And again, it left a really bad taste in my mouth. I was like, I don't want to work with someone who's using ChatGPT. I don't want to be using someone who's using AI for these suggestions. And so I wanted actual help. I need help. You know, I wanted something. And that's not what I got from this. It's not what I got from this. And my heart again dropped, it plummeted. And this was on May 20th. Then the next thing I asked for help with was the audio salad scam, them take the money. And I give him all the screenshots and everything. He's telling me things I already know. The good news is the video is currently monetized and normally and continues to generate revenue. I know. Oh my God, I know. I have access to my studio. I know this. So again, I was just like, okay, the two things I've asked for help with, they're taking 10% of my money from April. They're taking 10% from June. And if I even get any of my money back, I'm genuinely concerned I'm getting nothing. I'm genuinely concerned they've taken everything. And they're going to continue to take everything. There is a thing in my YouTube studio that says revoke access from Studio 71. If I click that button before the contract is terminated, they can hold my money. I feel like they're going to hold it anyway. And still, they're able to take from it right now. And I can't do anything. I can't do anything. I also panicked about getting paid as well. There was a whole thing at the start of June when I was like, I got paid a little bit from Google AdSense, but that was because when I signed the contract on April 14th, I got paid from April 1st to the 13th or something like that. So, and I panicked at first. I thought, oh my God, have I been hacked? Has my money been stolen? And like Josh did like calm me down. He was like, hey, you haven't been hacked. We have your money. It comes through us now. This is the statement. Again, like I even said like how anxious I was about that whole prospect. I did. And this was again at the very start of June. And all the stuff that was happening with Adam McIntyre and all of the drama stuff happened with them, that only happened last week. That only started happening last week. All of these issues and problems I've had have been going on since I signed that goddamn contract. And I'm just absolutely... So I'm trying to get out of this contract. I'm trying so hard to get out of this contract. And I sent an email to Josh on the 14th of June. And that was 4 days ago. All of the stuff was happening with Adam McIntyre online as well. And let me tell you, I was feeling so uncomfortable that my YouTube manager was doing that online, that behavior. I'm not going to go into it here. If you want to find out more about what's going on, because this is not about that drama or anything like that. There's loads of videos that Adam's done, that other channels have done. Josh has posted a couple of videos as well. That again just enhances how uncomfortable I am with the conduct of my YouTube manager. And that's the Studio 71 as a whole. I genuinely feel like me saying that is going to blow back in my face right now, because I'm in a contract that I'm still not out of yet. But I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. I have no contact information for anyone else at Studio 71. And I tried to fill in an online form on the portal today. I sent them an email and I got an email from Josh. I can't talk to anyone from there. But I sent this email to Josh to try and get out of this contract. I said, "Hi Joshua, I hope you're doing well. I can see that you've been really busy." Yeah. So I do apologise for adding more to yours and Studio 71's plate. I also in no way assume opportunities or working together will be a quick process, as I only signed the Studio 71 contract 2 months ago today, but I am wondering if we can come to a mutual agreement to terminate the contract early. Firstly, I do take blame for not being more vocal in my expectations of what this partnership would entail and what I would be getting out of it, and I should have absolutely asked more questions before signing the contract on the 14th of April. I never take opportunities for myself despite trying to be a successful YouTuber these last 7 years, but I did really want to try, so I took the leap of faith with you. I thank you for seeing something in me when you reached out months ago, and I did get carried away with the ideas and possibilities that could come from this. And honestly, the amount of times I don't take opportunities for myself, I don't. Because I just think it's going to blow up in my face. And again, look what's happening here. I'm losing faith that I'm even going to be able to do anything more with my channel. I think I made it clear from our early meetings that I want to focus on growing my channel and making the best videos I can possibly make without changing who I am as a person as my primary goal. I did love the idea of potentially getting my videos onto other platforms for an additional revenue stream, as well as more eyeballs on the content I love to make. But I've taken some time to think about things since our previous call that I would rather just stick to YouTube and growing there independently. I was hopeful that after you told me the team have done an optimization report on my channel, that the call would have been about my actual channel, where I can improve, specific content I can focus on, ways in which I can grow, etc. The optimization report ended up being completely different to what I expected. I understand from a business perspective that brand identity is a major player, but I should have said in the moment, but the Mr. Rogers Blues Clues suggested identity branding couldn't be further from who I am as a person, or the videos I want to make, or the videos I make and want to make. I go to scary locations to read horror books. I solve Agatha Christie books dressed as a character called Slagatha Christie. I vlog my experience reading books, and there's a whole lot of rude humour. I make my way through all of Stephen King's books, and a lot more that I just have no clue where any of that suggested branding would come into any of that. I did send a list of my video plans. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I did send a list of my video plans and ideas for the rest of the year on the 18th of May, which I didn't get a response to, which is fine, but also I'm just wondering how any of the suggestions will be implemented in anything I do, really. Another big problem I have with Josh is that I send an email and I don't get a response. I don't. That email I sent on the 18th of May, I sent him all of my video ideas for the rest of the year. All of them. It was a massive email as well, and I was like, okay, take a few days to reply. But no, he was too busy. It was on the 18th of May. He was too busy focusing on this Colleen Ballinger documentary, apparently, and doing ChatGPT for my Sherlock Holmes video, and called it a day. I want to focus on my channel. I do. I want to focus on the videos I make. I'm passionate about the videos that I make, and I want to make bigger and better videos. I do. That's what I love. That's why I love what I do. And that entire email was ignored by my YouTube manager. He didn't respond to that. And then when I said my initial anxiety about the financial stuff on the 1st of June, he was like, okay, how are you feeling about this? And I told him, I was so honest about it. I was like, I feel sick to my stomach, I'm not going to lie, that I don't have control of my finances. And I'm looking forward to when I actually can get control of them again. And he didn't reply. And I highlighted just how sickening it felt to not have control of my money. He ignored it. He didn't reply to that. And then on the 3rd of June, he sent me a response being like, oh, just making sure you got paid. And I did, I got paid a day late. Because they said, oh, maybe the first, but you know, it could take a few days. It could. International, you know, payments and stuff could take a few days. All the other stuff, weekends and whatnot. So I could end up getting paid like up to like the 4th, for instance. And my rent comes out on the 1st of every month. And a lot of my payments come out at the end of a month and start of the month as well. So that's just not helpful to me. So I said that, like, not having a fixed date and a fixed payment date makes me sick to my stomach. And he didn't reply. He didn't reply. And that was on the 1st of June I sent that email. He sent a message on the 3rd of June. Oh, making sure that you got paid. Also, he has a few pictures of my other client who came into the studio in California. One day, buddy, you can go to California too and film in this studio. Film fucking what? I read books. What am I doing in your studio? And how the hell am I going to get there in the first place? I live in the UK. I'm not paying for flights. Are you going to pay for the flights? Send me pictures of your other client in this freaking studio. What good is that? How does that help me? I'm literally telling you I'm sick to my stomach about this payment stuff. Oh, here's my client who came in to the studio. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't know how the visual aesthetic and colour palette portion of the presentation could also be implemented into anything I do, and especially in regards to the long list of video plans and current series that I do, and are the few things on my channel that are popular. I thought maybe the report would be like, this series you do is popular in the niche, but these are some ideas to bring that to a wider audience, not choose between Oxford Blue or Terracotta for your video aesthetic. I'm perplexed. I'm perplexed. I don't think my vision is aligning with Studio 71's vision, and I wonder if we both expected something completely different, and there's just been a misunderstanding somewhere. The other booktuber you suggested I collaborate with, where I would adopt the straight man persona, and they would pick a chaotic TBR, and I would be the calm and collected one trying to stop them from being too chaotic, just doesn't sound like me. That's another thing you suggested. I collaborate with another book person that they represent, and they would be all crazy and chaotic picking a TBR, and I would have to calm them down and be like, no, like, don't pick that for your TBR. What? Again, like, I feel like you don't know who I am as a person. I'm not the straight man in every sense of the word. Like, every sense of the word, I'm not the straight man. Even in the comedy, I know he's talking about the comedy sense. When he's talking about like the straight man persona, he's talking in comedy terms. Again, I have paraded around a haunted, abandoned nunnery, dressed as a nun, singing Sister Act. I have been to the High School Musical tour resort, and I was on that golf course pretending to be Troy fucking Bolton. I was at that pool pretending to be Sharpie fucking Evans. I even did a split screen doing Gabriella and Troy. What part of that is straight? What part of that is a straight man, even in a comedy duo? Would a straight man in a comedy duo do that? What? That idea was so bad. It was so bad. I'm sorry. It was. You don't know who I am. You genuinely... All of this talk that we had before I signed the contract, I thought you were watching my videos. When you were like... I sang a bit of Believe by Cher at the start of one of my videos. And then the next Zoom call we did, he started the Zoom call, do you believe in life after love? I was like, okay, he watches. He knows who I am. He knows who I am. He understands who I am. No, like, that's totally not what's ended up happening. I feel like I've signed this contract under false pretenses. Yeah, so I said, doesn't sound like me at all. I went to the High School Musical tour resort and recreated a few of the music portions of Public, which he knows about. I performed a Sister Act dressed as a nun in a haunted nunnery. I do crazy challenges sometimes when I go to abandoned creepy places, and there is no way I'm the straight man in a comedy duo, while the other person is the wacky and fun one. I understand that was most likely just a suggestion, but it's still a suggestion that shows I'm being misrepresented. I'm cringe and I do skits a lot of the time. I dress up in costumes and I take the piss out of myself, and there was nothing in the optimization report that led me to believe I was in the right hands. And that was me being as honest as I possibly could about something that I'm essentially paying for 10% of my money every month. And this was my way of telling him, okay, I'm being honest now. I'm being honest. I didn't like the optimization report. What do you want me to do? Continue lying about it? The merchandise ideas and everything sounded absolutely fine, though again, I'm sure I did say at one point that those kinds of things isn't really my focus. I don't take sponsorships, and even the suggested ones like BetterHelp goes against everything I believe in when it comes to integrity. Literally, as soon as I signed that contract, the first sponsorship you mentioned was BetterHelp. And I died inside. I've yet to say anything from Studio 71 in these first 2 months that has so far benefited me. I know it would take time for that first step you mentioned, the identity, evolution, rollout, and thumbnail optimization, but even then, those thumbnails for the Sherlock Holmes videos, for instance, were horrendous. I know I gave zero time for it, as I said on the Monday that I needed the video out on the Friday for Sherlock Holmes Day. I wasn't expecting much and guidance was all I really needed. An opinion on the thumbnail I had already made and title I had already prepared. I understand the team must have taken the thumbnail shot of me from the introduction of my video, but even just the design of the thumbnails were not really good. The titles and explanations to pair with the thumbnails in the email also sound like they came from ChatGPT. And I don't want to say that's exactly what was used when I asked for some guidance for my Sherlock Holmes video, but I ended up having to stick to my original plan for the Sherlock thumbnail and title, as unfortunately Studio 71's suggestions and thumbnails were unusable. It doesn't give me hope for what this identity evolution and thumbnail optimization would entail, whenever that should start. I again acknowledge it was a quick turnaround that was needed, but it wasn't a great first impression on what the team can do. This does eventually end, I promise. Obviously, you saw how racked with anxiety I was over payments from Studio 71 not having a fixed date, and handing over control of my finances was a risky move on my part that I did agree to in the contract, but I had no idea there was no fixed payment date. Just saying around the 1st generally could mean I could end up getting paid on the 4th, depending on time zone, weekend, bank holidays, etc. And since I am much further ahead in time zone, international pays can be delayed. I did get paid on the 2nd, which is better than I was expecting, but it's still considered late to me. I'm going to constantly worry for the next 11 months around payday, and that is the main reason why I would like to agree to early termination of the contract. You did email to ask how I was feeling on the 1st of June, and I did respond with how worried I am and how stressed I am, which didn't get a direct response from you. I also asked questions about payments on the 22nd of May, which I had to follow up on and finally get a response on the 28th of May. Oh my god, again, that's something I remember too. I emailed on the 22nd of May, so after I thought I'd been scammed and stuff, he was like, oh, don't worry, like, we have your money. I sent an email being like, oh, well, can you, like, let me know some more details about this? Like, can you please, like, let me know about, like, the Great British Pound kind of, what's the word, conversion and things like that. There was so many things I asked questions for, and I didn't get a response. And I sent that on May 22nd, and yeah, on the 28th of May, I followed it up because he didn't reply. Is that the 3rd time I've sent an email and he just didn't reply? So far, I was worrying the entire time about being paid. You did ask on the 3rd of June if I received the money, but none of my concerns in that email was addressed, and there was no reassurance or solution to delayed payments in the future, so again, it was just something I've noted. I guess the slow replies have been a factor into making me feel this way. Again, like, there's just, as a client, I just expected to not be ignored for as long as I have been, and it gets worse. It does get worse. I understand there was a lot going on behind the scenes at the company, but you also mentioned on the 3rd of June that you were talking to the OTT team about distributing my content on MSN. How did that go? It's the 14th of June as I'm writing this, and it doesn't feel like I'm in the loop about anything. So he did say on the 3rd of June, talking to the OTT team today about getting your content on MSN. I didn't hear anything again after that, until this email when I said, hey, that was the 3rd of June, it's now the 14th of June as I'm writing this. How did it go? What happened? Because again, I'm not being in the loop about anything. And that's how I feel. I just feel so in the dark. And that's one of the reasons why, again, why I'm so racked with anxiety about this whole thing. It takes so long to reply to things, if he replies at all. And I'm sat here just sick, absolutely sick. And then the one paragraph I mention, the stuff that's happening with Adam McIntyre right now. Now, finally, I really hope you're doing okay, Joshua. I have seen a lot from your Instagram stories and recent online discussions regarding your behaviour with specific people online, and a lot of it has made me uncomfortable to remain locked in this contract. I already had doubts with everything I've listed above, and again, I have since signing the contract, but it seems like everything that is happening online with you is taking up a lot more of your time and attention. And now the dates are lining up because apparently the documentary stuff started 14th of May or something like that, and yeah, it definitely sounds like this is taking up a little bit too much of his time and attention that I feel as a client, I have been completely sidelined. I understand you must be going through things, and I'm wishing you nothing but the best, but it's also hard for me to see how you're responding to people online right now and the approaches you are taking to your current circumstances. In regards to my position as a client and my channel and finances, I would feel much more comfortable if I could be released from the contract so I can go back to focusing on what is important to me, and that is my channel and making videos for my audience. Hopefully that sounds agreeable, and if you could let me know, that would be great. Hope you're having a good day, Gavin. And I do get a response later that day. Not a problem at all, Gavin. I'll get you off-boarded this week, Joshua. I was like, he wrote K. He was like, not reading all that. Sorry it happened. That is literally what it felt like. I was like, okay. But like, at least he said yes. He said not a problem. I was like, oh my god, amazing. I was actually so happy. So I followed it up. I said, let me know if there's anything I can do on my end. I appreciate it. That was the 14th of June. I heard nothing. I hear nothing again from that. So I follow up again on the 16th of June, 2 days later. And again, I'm giving him 2 days to respond. And I feel like that's enough. When he's my YouTube manager, I feel like that's enough time to give. I say, hi Joshua, Hope you're doing okay. If you get a moment, could you let me know what the next steps for the offboarding are? Is this a relatively quick process? Do I need to sign anything? Do I need to remove access to my studio? Let me know when you can and have a good day. That was on the 16th of June. And then he does send a lot more. He does. On the 17th of June, he sends, "Hey Gavin, I understand why what you've seen online would make you incredibly uncomfortable. If I were only viewing the situation through the limited lens of drama channels and commentary videos, I'd probably feel shocked and angry too." Can I just point out, anything that I said about the stuff that's happening with Adam McIntyre online, that was a footnote in that massive email that I sent with all of my concerns. I had paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs with my concerns of how I've been treated as a client and everything else. One paragraph where I said, it's making me uncomfortable. I don't like what you're doing online. The only reason this is happening is because Adam never told me he didn't like the idea of the doc and decided to publicly shame me and my wife instead. I reached out privately. He could have said it was a bad idea. He ranted on a video and live stream without ever communicating with me after years of being chill with one another. I was like, I don't need to know. I genuinely do not need to know. My email was not regarding the drama online. I don't agree with what Josh is doing online. I really don't. Again, it was making me so freaking uncomfortable seeing all of that unfolding as I am a client. I filmed a video in Wales last weekend. I think Adam posted his video. Joshua David Evans just threatened me, I think maybe the day before I left to go on this trip. And that's what I was thinking of. I'm trying to film this big video for my channel that I'm posting in a couple of months. And this is in the back of my mind. I'm like, what's my YouTube manager doing? What's happening? What's going on? And it's so freaking bizarre. It's so weird. But again, I mentioned the tiniest part of that in that email because leading up to that moment, so much had happened that I wanted to get out anyway. But the stuff that was happening online with Adam, that was the last straw for me. And I was like, okay, I need to get out of this. It's this bit. What surprised me wasn't your reaction. It was that after all the conversations we've had and the rapport we've built, your first instinct was to criticize everything we've discussed and presented me in our conversations in a way that feels very emotionally reactive rather than grounded. All I've ever done is treat you with kindness. I've poured my heart out in that email. You wanted me to be honest about how I feel I've been treated, and you're saying I'm acting emotionally reactive rather than grounded? You open up this email about something totally unrelated to my situation, and you go into that you're surprised. What surprised me wasn't your reaction. It was that after all the conversation we had, the rapport we built. I'm sorry, but again, I'm your client. I'm your client. And again, you have been lovely in those calls. Absolutely. I'm not attesting that. I'm not saying you were awful. But I had concerns and I emailed you about them, and you're replying with this? That I'm not treating you right? That all you've ever done is treat me with kindness? This is about your job. This is about the job that I was expecting from you. This is about me giving you 10% of my ad revenue every month and not feeling like I'm getting anything. I'm like, wait, hang on. Are you trying to say that none of my concerns are valid? I gave you a massive email telling you exactly how I felt, and I don't get it. I don't get it. The reality is that this situation is far more nuanced than the version currently being presented online. The video I'm releasing isn't some angry rant or threats. Okay, so he hadn't released his video yet. He was threatening to release a video, an expose on Adam McIntyre and addressing the drama. And the video hadn't come out yet as of sending me this email. And it was being posted all online and everything. Obviously, I could say it. I've been following Josh for years on Instagram. He's been following me. So I see everything he posts. And so, yeah, he's talking about this video he's releasing, like, which honestly I've watched, and that video was awful. The video, oh my God. It just solidified in me even more, like, I need to get away from this. I need to escape this contract so badly. I need to escape the shadow of this man. What he's saying, what? That video, I thought maybe there would be some reasoning in it, at least. But the more he went on, the more he talked, I was like, oh my God. This is unhinged. This is so bad. I can't believe this. And he's talking about Adam here. They have added their own twist to this entire situation and doubled down to the point where it seems so black and white. I'm trolling online on purpose because that is exactly what these people want and function off of. They picked a fight and are now playing the victim because I decided to not remain silent. You're purposefully goading people online. This is the behaviour I'm seeing of you. And honestly, if I had no idea what this whole Adam McIntyre situation was, I would still be concerned. I'm like, why are you provoking people online? This is not the right behaviour of a YouTube manager. I'm scared of you. The stuff you're posting online, I'm scared of you. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe the way he was going on, and this video is not about that. But this is Josh admitting he's doing it on purpose. He's trolling people online on purpose. What? How is that the right way of going about things? If you feel slighted by Adam, why are you purposefully goading him and his followers? It doesn't make any sense. The only person who's looking bad in this is you. You're acting terribly, and you're admitting to acting terribly. You're making everything so much worse. My video was a calm discussion about a handful of simple moments that got twisted, amplified, and turned into something much bigger than they ever were. The main thing I remember from the video you posted was that you said at 12 years old, you were out skateboarding. Whereas Adam, at 12 years old, was bullying you. You were in your 30s at the time, and Adam was groomed and abused by your ex-wife at 12 years old. I don't get that. You're talking about how scared you were that these documentary people reached out to you, and how, oh, it's bringing all these memories back, and I feel traumatized and triggered by it, and I didn't think it was a good idea. And so you were saying that that was your initial reaction. And yeah, I seem to recall in a message to Adam, you said, oh, I have the same gut instinct about these people as I did with Swoop. I don't get it. I could see the narrative changing as the video was going on. And I was like, again, this is not what I want to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of this. Get that fire exit door, I'm off. So your video was not a calm discussion about a handful of simple moments that got twisted, amplified, and turned into something much bigger than they ever were. The constant goading of Adam and his followers, that is twisting everything. That is amplifying things. That is taking things out of control. You're doing that. You are doing that. Unfortunately, what you're watching is also the kind of content that tends to generate attention, views, and revenue. Pot meat kettle. Pot meat kettle. I'm reading this, I'm just like, again, I didn't ask. But I'm seeing the hypocrisy. Had you reached out, I would have gladly shared the full context, the timeline. I didn't want to know. I genuinely didn't want to know. My email was not about that. And the receipts that show how all of this actually unfolded. Instead, you're seeing a version of events being narrated by someone who has already decided what the story is. I've heard your side of the story now. I watched that video you posted. I'm on Adam's side. That said, I genuinely respect your position. If you've decided you'd like to exit the agreement, I can absolutely make that happen. I just need a little time. These decisions aren't made by me alone, and an abrupt contract termination requires conversations with the people responsible for approving those requests. It'll likely take about a week for me to get in front of the right people and work through the process properly. And here's me, honestly, just panicking again, because I'm like, you're doing so much online right now. You're goading people online. You're provoking people online. Are you actually going to focus on this and help me as soon as possible to get out of this contract? Or are you just going to continue ignoring my emails? And I was right. For what it's worth, this has been a very difficult and personal situation for me. If you ever take the time to watch my interview with Swoop, you'll probably notice pretty quickly that the way the story is being framed online doesn't line up with the reality of what that interview proved about who I've always been as a person. I mean, I feel like that's weaponizing, again, his mental health. I feel that's weaponizing his documentary with Swoop, which happened 3 years ago. People can change since then. That could have been a mask. I don't know. I was one of the many millions of people who watched the documentaries as they came out. And yeah, I had a great opinion of you after that. I did. But now I'm genuinely terrified of you. I'm genuinely terrified of you. I'm terrified that I'm going to have no money for the next couple of months. I'm terrified that I'm going to get a cease and desist from this video. I'm terrified that I'm not going to be heard from anyone at Studio 71 because I haven't actually talked to anyone from Studio 71 except you. I'm so backed into a corner right now, and I have no idea what to do. So if you want to weaponize your mental health, I've just sent you, Josh, and this is what's prompted me to make this video, I sent you a massive email, completely the most vulnerable email I've ever sent anyone, and I'll read it out. I'll read it out, because your reply to that has sickened me, and it's terrified me. It's genuinely, I couldn't speak for, I couldn't speak. So don't freaking weaponize a Swoop documentary from 3 years ago. Things change. You have clearly changed. What makes this especially frustrating is that none of this started with some traumatic conflict. Someone had concerns about a documentary, chose not to express those concerns to me directly, stopped responding, and then publicly criticized me and my wife. Please, 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 he didn't say your name. I just want to say this. He did not say your name. He didn't say your name. People theorize. They theorize quite a few people. They theorize quite a few people. You are not the only name mentioned. The only person who outed you was you. The only person who brought your wife into it was you. I'm so perplexed. It's saying everything that's happening online. I'm feeling gaslit from this email. Again, you didn't have to comment. You didn't have to out yourself. Oh my God. Before I even knew there was an issue, by the time I understood what was happening, the narrative had already been written. It hadn't though. Oh my God, it hadn't. It hadn't. I've spent the better part of 10 years dealing with situations where other people tell my story for me, often without context and often in ways that don't reflect the reality of who I am. I guess I had hoped that after the conversations we've had, there'd be at least enough trust to ask questions or hop on Zoom before making a decision this significant. I emailed you privately with my concerns, and you've made this all about your situation with Adam. Not one part of my concerns was even brought up in this. Instead, you said, oh, I treated you with kindness. This is how you repay me. This report that we've had and stuff like this. I'm like, I've just told you my concerns. I did. I emailed you and I took blame. I did. I accepted blame for some of the things that I didn't portray well enough. I did. And I'm speechless because I feel like, what else could I have done? I did email you privately. I had hoped that after the conversation we've had, there'd be at least enough trust to ask questions to hop on Zoom before making a decision this significant. But I understand that's not where you're at right now. So while I don't believe the situation is nearly as black and white as it's being presented online, again, I didn't care. I'm caring more now because this is now really affecting me. What you're doing online is affecting me because I know you're not paying attention to me as a client in helping me get out of this. I do respect your decision. He doesn't. He genuinely doesn't. You're going to say how he doesn't respect my decision at all. Give me a little time to get in front of the appropriate people and I'll make sure everything is handled correctly. So I replied when I woke up, "Hi Joshua, thank you for letting me know a little bit more, but the online drama was really only a footnote in the email I sent. It isn't the main reason or even a big reason as to why I want to leave the contract. You really don't need to share any more about it with me, but I would still like to go ahead with the termination. Can you give me a timeline or something that I'm not in the dark about for the next processes? You say it will take about a week to get in front of the right people. Should I email again next Wednesday to make sure things are moving along? Or if you have any further updates about it, I understand you're busy and you have events coming up, but I would appreciate being kept in the loop about this." I really do, because again, I feel like I'm in such a dark about everything about my life. And again, this is my livelihood. This is everything to me. This is my job. They have all of my money. They have my finances. Everything. Absolutely everything. And I didn't get a response. I didn't get a response. He didn't tell me. And then his video premiered. He's posting all over his Instagram. He's commenting on other people's videos. Sunflower emojis. I'll probably get a fucking sunflower emoji on my video too. Using the same vernacular that people's abusers have used in the past, like Adam's abuser, his ex-wife has used in the past. And again, not addressing that at all. What's with the sunflower emoji? What's with the "say you a VidCon bro"? What's with the confrontational, intimidating tactics that you're doing on purpose? You've admitted to me you've done it on purpose. You're doing all of this on purpose. He didn't respond. I just asked for a timeline. I was like, just please keep me in the loop. Didn't respond. And then he's just posted another video about Adam. Keeps posting on his Instagram stories. And like, I see you online. I see you're posting. You're posting on YouTube, Instagram, everything. You're posting everywhere. I need to send another email. Because again, the longer we leave this, the longer I'm trapped in this contract, the longer you're taking my money. And I need my money. I need my money. This is going to be a really hard email to read out because I'm going to be very brutally vulnerable and honest about it. This is going to go into my finances right now. It's not looking good. I just sent it, as of filming this video, I sent it 2 hours ago. "Hi Joshua. Again, I understand you're incredibly busy right now, but I really do need responses and more transparency from you right now. Let me be even more honest than I was in my first email and why I have a sense of urgency in reclaiming my finances from you in Studio 71. I currently have £1,118 in the bank. I do have the USD conversions in brackets. I have credit card bills coming out next week, £162. A final payment for a location I booked to film at coming out in 2 days that I paid a non-refundable deposit for months ago, £400. My water bill, £46. My council tax, £132. A bank loan repayment, £348. My energy bill, £107. A PayPal Pay in 3 payment for my flights to Peru for my Trova trip, as they don't pay for my flights, £992. My phone bill on the 1st of July, £115. And my rent on the 1st of July, £750, which I just got a message the other day saying they're raising that to £850 starting September 1st. And my energy prices are going up as well. I'm most likely not going to get paid on time from Studio 71 with my money, my own money, due to international payment taking longer. And it wouldn't be a problem if I got paid like I usually did from Google AdSense. That would be around the 22nd to 26th every month. But I might not get paid from Studio 71 until maybe the 2nd or 3rd of July. I still have my travel expenses to pay for to get to the location I booked to film at, and travel to a wedding of a friend at the end of July too, and trains are not the cheapest in the UK. By my calculations, I have £3,052 to pay before I get my money from Studio 71, with £1,118 in my bank. I've given Studio 71 10% of my April earnings already. I feel like I haven't benefited from anything you or Studio 71 have provided in April. I will again be paying Studio 71 10% of my May earnings when I finally get paid at the start of July. Again, I feel like I haven't received any benefits from this partnership so far. Instead, that's 20% of my previous earnings that are just gone and I don't get to see, despite me working really hard to make sure I keep a roof over my head, pay my bills on time, and still be able to book places for videos, because I do. I put myself in debt sometimes to pay for these wilder videos I do, because again, that is my main priority. My job is my passion. And we are 18 days in June, and I imagine Studio 71 will again be taking another 10% of my earnings from this month. And yet again, I haven't felt like anything has happened. I know I signed the contract, and that's on me. But that's why I'm asking to be let go from it as soon as humanly possible, so that this isn't dragged on too longer. And then it will take even longer for me to get future payments. This is nothing personal, and you have been very lovely on the calls that we have had. I apologise if I sounded like I came across rather harsh when I didn't like the optimization report. I just felt rather deflated and disappointed that none of it was to do with my actual content, but the branding around it, the aesthetics, and not what I'm passionate about doing. My actual videos. I sent you an email on June 1st with my concerns about my finances, didn't I? You didn't reply to my concerns. You only followed up on the 3rd to make sure I got paid. But those feelings of anxiety and not having control of it does bother me more than I thought it would. I even mentioned that I was looking forward to getting control of my finances again. And that email predates all of this drama that you're in online. So this Adam situation is not the reason I've asked to be let go, but it is the last straw. When I sent the email on June 3rd, and I said all of my concerns, on June 1st, and I sent all my concerns, I put a reminder in my phone on March 1st, 2027, to remind me to ask to be let go from the contract. I did that, again, long before this stuff with Adam started happening, and I wanted out, and I said I can't wait to get my finances again. I alluded to the fact that I want to be out of this contract before all of this stuff happened with Adam. I have a reminder on my phone for March 1st, 2027 to email to ask to be let go, because I know there's a 30-day period, because otherwise the contract automatically rolls over. I know, and I put in my reminder to leave. I want to leave. I'm watching you post videos on your YouTube channel and posting stories on Instagram where you are purposefully goading Adam and his community online. That is making me uncomfortable, absolutely. But it's also making me frustrated because I know I sent an email yesterday morning asking for what the next steps are, and instead of replying to your client, you're provoking people online. It's not behavior I want to be a part of. This is my livelihood. All the money you get from me is all of my money. I needed to live and pay my bills and support myself and pay for the things I need to do to keep doing my job. I'm just asking you to do your job. If there is any way, again, and I am pleading now for a quick turnaround, then please help me. Even if we can't cancel the contract right this minute, is there any chance at all that my upcoming May revenue will be processed as soon as Studio 71 gets it, rather than wait until the start of the month to send it? There are no additions to my revenue from Studio 71, which I imagine is why it takes a little longer to process payments. But you're only taking from me at this moment. Take the 10%, it's fine. But can this be arranged? Like, literally take the 10%, take it. Just give me something. Give me the money that I've worked so hard to earn, the money that I've generated from posting as many videos as I could, from going to random ass places so I could film even more interesting videos. Please, like, my Google AdSense will come in the second to last week of the month or the last week of the month. It would depend. And honestly, I know it sounds like I have a really bad financial situation right now, but if I was getting paid on time, that wouldn't be the case. That would not be the case. I would be fine if I just got my money on time, and I'm just not. If I go back to get my revenue on time, I'd be fine. Usually I would get my Google AdSense around the 22nd to 26th, so I'm assuming that's when Studio 71 gets it. If payment could be processed next week as soon as it comes in, that would be amazing. I'm hoping you're doing okay, and I hate to beg, but the unresponded emails and sounds is only furthering my anxiety of this whole situation. Your help with this would be greatly appreciated. And this was me begging. I was literally on my hands and knees begging, and I don't think you understand how I've never had to send an email like that before. I never have. I've never had to. And then Josh responded. He responded quite quickly. And again, I'm like, you're able to respond quickly? Actually, before I sent that email, I used that contact form on the Studio 71 portal that the clients get. And I was like, if you have any questions or any concerns or anything like that, use this online submission form. I did. This is what I sent. And I sent it 18th of June 2026, 10:13 a.m. I sent it this morning. Hi, I am a client of Joshua David Evans, and I emailed about an early termination of my contract on Sunday, which he agreed to. I did get a follow-up email yesterday morning, my time, I'm in the UK, with a bit more, and he said it would take a while for him to get in front of the right people to process this. I just want to make sure that the processes are actually moving ahead and that this gets sorted as soon as possible. I understand Joshua is very, very busy online right now and has been very slow to responding to emails the past month in general, but I'm hopeful that this will move forward without any needless delays. Do I need to say another email for someone from Studio 71 to the emails with Joshua so I know that things are moving forward? What should I do next? I have asked Josh via email, but I haven't had a response about next steps, and I sent that email over 24 hours ago now. Any help will be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So that's me sending an email to someone, hopefully someone else at Studio 71. And then I get this email from Josh, and my heart just dropped. It just absolutely dropped. I can't believe this was the response I got. They will offboard your channel Monday, and you will receive an email notification to the one associated with the account confirming it. You'll just need to hop on over to the earnings tab and make sure it's turned back on. I'll email when they confirm that it's released just to follow up. So that's good. That's good. Okay, Monday. That's great. That's great. Thanks for reaching out to the other department, by the way. It ended up leading to a really productive conversation about your channel and its future, and it was clear that it's best to part ways as soon as possible. So the team I emailed with that submission, the only way I can contact anyone else is Studio 71. They've talked to Josh about it, and this very biting paragraph I get ended up leading to a really productive conversation about your channel and its future, and it was clear that it's best to part ways as soon as possible. He's essentially saying that, yeah, your channel is really bad. Like, you're not going to make us any money, and you'll not be around for too much longer anyway. So, yeah, let's terminate. You're not going to do anything for us? Nice. Very nice. You know, the amount of times I've turned down opportunities for my channel, many times I've said no to things, the self-esteem, the trying to prove myself every year, making bigger and better videos and all this and the other. That's the response I get. Had to block you on Instagram, unfortunately. Started feeling pretty uncomfortable with how closely you seem to be following my stories and personal life, especially given how much contempt you've expressed toward me. I'm sure you understand, Gavin. Hopefully this frees up some energy for things that bring you a little more joy than keeping tabs on me. Enjoy your weekend. I sent that massive email. Completely vulnerable, completely open about my current situation. Doesn't say anything about it at all. Nothing. Had to block me on Instagram. Despite us following each other, despite him posting on Instagram non-stop, despite him popping up first on my carousel whenever I open up Instagram with more attacks at people online, again posting more stories and videos on YouTube, completely unhinged, purposefully trolling people as he has already admitted. And yet he had to block me on Instagram because he was feeling uncomfortable with how closely I seemed to be following his stories and personal life. Like we weren't following each other on Instagram. Alright, this is my YouTube manager. He's responded to my concerns by blocking me on Instagram. I sat there speechless from that. I am speechless. I've just sent you the most vulnerable email I've ever sent someone as your client, and that's your response. I followed you on Instagram for years. You kept posting stories. You kept popping up on the front of my carousel. Of course I was going to click on your stories when I'm waiting for a response from you as, again, your client. This is concerning. I can't believe this. Can you please at least reply to my financial situation? And now I don't know what to do. He's blocked me on Instagram. I haven't heard a peep from Studio 71. I can't just remove their access from my YouTube studio because the contract says if I do that, they can hold my money. The money that they feel like they deserve. I don't know what to do. I genuinely don't know what to do. Apparently I'm getting offboarded on Monday. Great. It is currently Friday as I'm filming this. I'm going to be spending the next couple of days absolutely ridden with anxiety. Because I don't know if this video is going to help. I don't know if it's going to make things worse. I don't know if I'm going to get my money at all. Because I haven't been paid any money from May. It's now the middle of June. They're going to take at least half of the entire month of June as well. By the time Monday comes around and I get offboarded, I have so much that I have to pay for over the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to have by Monday nothing. Okay. So I don't know what's going on. I'm just absolutely flabbergasted, sickened. Definitely, hopefully this acts as a message and a learning thing for anyone else on BookTube, anyone else who feels rather vulnerable and someone comes along with an opportunity like this. Just be wary, honestly. Just be wary. We'll see what happens, I guess. Yeah. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, I'll keep you posted.